Good evening, folks. This is Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project on Saturday, December 9th, 11:01 p.m. Mountain Time, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. You're looking at the new fires burning in California. The winds did not go down this evening. Usually when the sun sets, there's a time right when the sun goes over the horizon that the winds stop. It doesn't seem like that's happening. The Santa Ana winds are continuing to push this fire. If we come over to Nullschool, I don't know if you know about this site. I'll leave you links to nullschool.net. It's a current satellite system it's very interactive. I'm looking at wind plus particulate matter, less than 2.5 nanometers at the surface. This shows fires. You can also come here to less than 1 nanometer. It'll also show. But once you get above 10, you start to get some interference. But what you're looking at here is the fires in California and the associated dust, smoke, and ash. And you can see those fires burning in Mexico, in the jungle as well, and here, and a few in the United States. But I also want you to look up here at the major burning happening up on the Canadian Shield. These are fires that have been burning since June. Canadian wildfires burning in the Yukon Territory. You got the Klondike region, the Yukon Territory, and these fires, see how the smoke is wisping to the right? This is a picture and an article from June 25th. The fires began, and upon checking at Nullschool, the fires are burning quite extensively. Now, the fires in the Yukon Territory amount to 3 times more ash and particulate than the fires in California. And there are also other fires in North America and in Mexico. And we have an article about a fire here, smoke from a fire burning in Tijuana, seen from Chula Vista today, which is clearly this giant area lit on fire down here in Baja. There is no containment tonight. Zero containment. This is a picture from space. Do you guys see how much is burning? They haven't contained the fires in the Yukon either since June. July, August, September, October, November, December. Boom! 6 months this Canadian Shield has been burning. Have you guys heard about this, Canada being on fire? Well, you have now. In fact, most of North America is on fire according to this map. And they're letting it burn. That's a heads up. Smoke from the fire burning in Tijuana is seen from Chula Vista. Listen what they say here. The fire burning south of the border isn't a threat to the U.S. Oh, well, thank God we can let all those people burn. This is disgusting. The amount of idiocracy happening on our planet and the non-compassion in humans leads me to believe that this shift is necessary. And why they're letting the Yukon Territory burn is beyond me at that scale. Massive storm brings record snowfall to the south. We know about these records. How any American or any human on the planet can believe in global warming at this point is beyond me. A massive storm system that started in the deep south is moving into the mid-Atlantic now. Currently, it's snowing all up the east coast of the U.S. Almost 200 airline flights were canceled on Friday due to the weather. Look at that. The pre-winter storm made its way through Atlanta during a busy Friday evening commute, and some parts of Alabama saw 10 inches of snow. That's not a record. That's insane. Alabama sees half an inch in the winter, not 10 inches in the beginning of December. We're not even at the winter solstice, folks. Most folks in Louisiana aren't used to driving on ice. Yeah, well, get used to it. In Texas, 4 months after Hurricane Harvey hit, snow-covered swaths of the state from Houston, which got 3.5 inches. That's a world record. Guys, these records are being broken all the way back to 1895. Here's how much snow fell across southeast Louisiana. Holla, Creole much? Grand solar minimum, though. Several locations in southeast Louisiana saw as much as 6.5 inches of snow on Friday, December 8th. The winter solstice is the 21st. Six and a half inches on Friday at Kentwood, 5 inches at Donaldsonville. Louis Armstrong International Airport in Kenner saw only a trace of snow, but that was a record there. It might be the earliest measurable snow for New Orleans ever. Snow statistics at the Slidell office listed December 11th, 2008 as the earliest. For Baton Rouge, the one-day snow record was 6.5 inches on February 15th, 1895. The day before, 6 inches of snow fell, resulting in the record two-day 12.5 inches. On Saturday morning, Armstrong Airport tied the record for low temperature on December 9th. So not only do we have record snows, we have record cold in your global warming world that you live in. If you guys are still watching TV, man, please throw them out the window now. Hattiesburg area sees the most snowfall since, ever. The heavy snowfall in the Pine Belt got Friday registered more than 5.5 inches in Hattiesburg, a new record. It once snowed 5 inches in 1895 in the Glassberg minimum. Right here during the drop down. High cosmic ray flux, the same as almost the same cycle as we're in right now. The same thing happened in the same cycle as we're in now. Just 100 years ago. Who's reporting on that? No one. This is not unique. It's predictable. It's sad how many Americans are and how many people around the globe are brainwashed. Asheville snowstorm, 15th biggest on record. Guys, it snows in Asheville more than anywhere in North Carolina. It is near the highest mountains in the Appalachians. It goes up to 5,500 feet on Cold Mountain. These are snowstorms that happen in February, in the winter, not in the beginning of December. So it may be the 15th biggest on record. But people in Asheville, I used to live there, have contacted me. This is unprecedented. Haven't seen anything like this ever. The Asheville Regional Airport, the city's official, they predicted 1 to 4 in this area. And look at these numbers. 16.3 inches at the airport. I told you they're not going to know how to predict what's coming. Guys, if you think that the weather prediction has been poor in the last 20 years, wait till you see what's going to happen in the next 3 years. These undergraduate minors called meteorologists are going to get their asses handed to them. The guy said, one of my friends that sent me an email today said they forecast an inch of snow and they got 11. So they were off by 1,000%. Grand solar minimum much? Boom! Washington Post. This is the front now, coming up into the northeast here. This is pretty normal. I used to live right here. I was born in Philadelphia, grew up in the suburbs. I taught at Temple University in the 90s. So this is kind of anomalous since the global warming trend, but that was just called solar maximum. If you guys watch my grand solar minimum video, you know what I'm talking about. So this is the beginning of the snow in New England that's probably going to continue and stay for a lot of the summer this year. Let's talk about Scotland. Let me close Nullschool so we can get something going here. I'm starting to slow down here. Look at the fires in North America, guys. All right, polar blast hit Scotland. Hardest 6 inches of snow covers the country. You guys haven't seen snow in a long time, right? Well, welcome to the olden days. The north of Scotland has woken up to 6 inches of snow as a polar blast continued to batter the country overnight. How do you like them apples? The wintry weather saw 6 inches of snow in Inverness-shire and nearly 5 in Aviemore. And temperatures plummeted yesterday. Widespread frost is again forecast through the day, with a low of -12°C expected in sheltered Scots Glens. Big up to the Queen Mother and all that, but that's a little chilly. Yellow weather warnings for parts of Scotland, including Tayside, Fife, Grampian, the Highlands, and parts of the southwest of the country. Guys, it doesn't look good. I was reading this earlier. Look at the snow out there. The Cairngorms. I don't know how you say that. I'm sorry. I'm trying. While the snow on Saturday will be in the form of showers, and many people will not get any. On Sunday, we're expecting more widespread snow with 10 centimeters in parts of northwest England, the Midlands and Wales, with the chance of 15 to 20 centimeters in more exposed, isolated areas. Man, that's a big boom. If you guys, that's a heads up. Do we see a pattern here, folks? Flooding persists in 7 southern provinces. This is a big boom to Bangkok. I'm glad I'm not in Bangkok. Floods persist in 7 southern provinces due to cosmic ray flux increase, which has only begun, folks. It's going to go up 20% every year as we descend into cycle 24's minimum. So these floods are going to be twice as bad next year and twice as bad as next year's the year after. Floods persist in 7 southern provinces with more than 1 million people affected. Did you grasp the number? 1 million. Resulting in 22 deaths over the past 15 days. I'll leave you links. We have a lot to cover. And we're also going to announce the 21% discount on cold times coming up shortly. Strong and shallow M6.1 earthquake hits. This is hitting Micronesia out here by Yap and Guam. This is the 3rd M6 plus in 48 hours, guys. I don't know if you've looked at space weather today, but for the last 6 hours, we've been at KP0. I know what you're thinking. I'm going to have these shirts later. You can go buy them if you like them. So we have an uptick here. This is definitely an uptick in seismic activity. We've been seeing major 5s. And now it's major 6.5 and greater out here. Here we have another 6.1 today. This is the 3rd in Micronesia, which is leading me to suggest New Zealand, you might be safe in the coming months. Micronesia may be experiencing the pre-shocks to a big one out here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a 7.5 or greater in the Micronesia area in the next 48 hours. We have an uptick here in the Caribbean plate. Notice the stacked 4.0 and high 3s in the British Virgin Island area. And there's something else unique that happened tonight while I was stacking up the articles for you to take a look at. And very rare event happening here in Colorado, where I'm at right now. We have a 3.0 southwest of Mountain Village, following a 2.9 southwest of Mountain Village. This is a pretty rare area. This is part of that Basin and Range province that heads all the way up here into Idaho and part of the moderate quakes that happen in this region as well as out here. But this is a very quiescent area seismically. Now, guys, if we come up on this, there's this volcanic region here that's very old. And this is a very unique happenstance here in Mountain Village. So times are changing and unique things are unfolding as we progress into the grand solar minimum, and we're covering them here. Another heads up here is this large seismic activity here by Atka, Alaska. This is in where the Great Sitkin volcano is, that's become on high alert in recent days. So that's a heads up. Phreatic eruption resumes of degassing at Kanlaon in the Philippines. That's right in the region we're talking about on the Ring of Fire, guys. And if we look at the Wikipedia for Kanlaon, very little is known about this large stratovolcano. It's very deadly, similar to St. Helens. Would cause a lot of cooling to happen if a massive eruption here. But the recent volcanic activity has only started now. Now, what we know about volcanoes that erupt in grand solar minimums is that they start erupting during high cosmic ray flux times, like now. And I would imagine this volcano is erupting a lot during the Maunder minimum. So it's a heads up for Kanlaon and those people in that region. Bali is continuing to outgas and plume. And the relief effort is underway to support the thousands of displaced people. Most of them are staying out of harm's way, which is a good idea because this volcano could and will catastrophically erupt at some time soon. Look at the uptick we're seeing right as the video is happening. The southeast Indian Ridge is moving. And we have a 4.4 in Colombia. Definite uptick here, guys. And that's because the KP is currently at 0. We're about to get to it. Let me shut this down before we melt down the computer. If we come over to space weather, we've been in KP 0 now for 6 hours. However, the phi angle has shifted and the density is starting to shovel up. The temperature dropped here when the phi angle shifted. And that means we're about to couple with the northern coronal hole, and the speed will increase over the next 12 hours. It's going to start to go up at some point. So we'll remain at 0 for 3 or more hours, and we'll come out of it, thankfully. So be psychic tonight. Those with cardiac issues, relax, take a pill. And it's a heads up for seismic activity. Hopefully nothing blows while we're making the video. Let's talk about earthquakes in the south of England. A lot of people think England is safe. One of our viewers sent us this today. I can't tell you who because they didn't really give me permission, but I know they dropped this bomb on me because they want you to know about it. Now, if you think southern England doesn't have seismic activity, that's because it doesn't have seismic activity when the sun is active. So there basically hasn't been any seismic activity for hundreds of years. But that's not the case prior to 1840 and the Maunder minimum. Because this area from 1076 on was very seismically active. There are lots of earthquakes here that I'm going to leave you a link to that you can check out. 1275, there was the Chichester epicenter. In 1551, another one in the same area. 1553, the South Sea quake. 1574, York and Worcester, Gloucester, Bristol. 1580, a major quake. 1638, the Chichester major quake. 1580, 1630. These major quakes started here, extended throughout the Maunder minimum, and guys, they ended in 1730. Like clockwork. Look at, they went actually to 1755. 6 and done. So 1756, 60, they lasted to 1761. So just until we came out of the Maunder here at the peak of the Dalton, this was all seismically active in England. And we're right beginning that drop down, guys, in England. Don't expect it to be seismically quiet in southern England. Not based on the data I'm looking here. It is overwhelming. There were even tsunamis. So look at this. It ticks back up in 1811 to 1835. 1811 to 1835 is another huge seismic period. Here's 1811. Here's 35. So this Dalton minimum, very seismically active in England. Do you see a pattern, England? South England may not be safe. 1882 to 1896, seismic activity. That's the Glassberg minimum. And now we're going into the grand solar minimum, which will be deeper than the Maunder minimum. The Maunder minimum is where all these quakes happened. The major quakes. And the tsunamis in England. It's a heads up. You weren't taught that in school, I'm sure. If you were England, let me know in the comments. I really want to know what you were taught. But you are extremely seismically active in the British Isles during grand minimums, especially in the English Channel, where there's large quakes that set off tsunamis. Now here's more embarrassment from the mainstream. Another crushing video of the starving polar bear to serve no purpose except to tug on your heartstrings. Because they want you to believe that the global warming is causing these bears to die. So I did 5 minutes of research, and I found out that when there is no sea ice, it actually makes the polar bear population stronger. Because what happens when there's no sea ice, old and weak bears, like this one, and baby bears tend to die. But the strong, virulent, the genetic pool that is masculine, they live and they breed on. Which is why when we discovered polar bears here in this cold period, there were only 5,000 known. And as it got warmer, the populations have risen to over 50,000. There is no polar bear extinction. The mass media is full of shite. So this starving polar bear is a sick older polar bear or a young polar bear that is being culled due to natural selection so that the species can continue and be strong. I will leave you links to this article, and it will tell you exactly that. Now here's some good news coming from ABC of all people. In Nepal, there are people constructing earthquake-proof classrooms for the poorest people on the planet. These are the people that will inherit the earth. Amen to that. Let's talk about space weather. 6 hours at K0. We're waiting for this coronal hole to hit, and we're waiting on maybe a large earthquake to occur in the next 6 to 12 hours. Now, here are our heroes of the day, the workings of solar wind flows deciphered. Guys, if you watched the video yesterday where I made the correlation between the KP7 geomagnetic storm in Alaska providing the energy for the largest snowfall ever recorded in Valdez, well, these guys have uncovered the key. And if I can say serendipity, my goodness. I'll let you read it. It's a little thick, and for the layman, I really can't decipher it in that short a time. However, L1 point. There's something called the L1 point in space science. And it is there's two types of geomagnetic activity that can reach Earth. Coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and CIRs. CIRs are co-rotating. Where is the definition? So the CIRs are much more complicated and difficult to observe. They're co-rotating units. So there's two types of solar winds that can come at us from the corona here. Now, what they determined is that at the center point where they shift, the phi angle, which what we look at here on the solar wind chart is this blue. When the shift occurs, if the solar wind shift is greater than 6 degrees for a considerable duration of time, it can actually charge weather systems. This is an amazing breakthrough because this is actually going to lead to the predictable nature of atmospheric compression events moving forward into the grand solar minimum. This is exactly what we need to save people's lives. And this is amazing work. And a heads up to these guys, I will leave you links. So we have another volcano added to the list here. We have Shishaldin, Cleveland, and the Great Sitkin. 1, 2, 3. We have 5 down here in Hawaii. I'll leave you links to that. Guys, if you've seen this article come out today from Elon Musk, it's a scam. Do not pay $100 a month to get Elon Musk's brain pills. Now, I had some respect for this guy until I looked into this crap. Do not buy his brain pills. Simply look at this article I'm going to leave you with. These are the 11 herbs that he Googled, Elon Musk, to put into that pill to charge you $100 for. And a majority of them you can grow. And these are herbs that make your memory, focus, and brain work better than ever. And what you're looking at there is rosemary. Yes, sir. But we'll just go through them real quick and I'll leave you a link. Gotu kola, easily accessible for less than $100. Rosemary, you can grow it everywhere. Vacha, same. Ashwagandha, very cheap. Bacopa monari. Rhodi. Huperzine A, Ginkgo biloba. These trees are all over every major city on the East Coast. Just collect the leaves, eat. Tulsi, holy basil. You can grow it in any greenhouse and on your shelf. Ginseng, we know where to get that. Brahmi. Now, that's all he did was combine these and charge you $100 for it. Now, we need to learn how to start to prepare for the future and be self-sufficient. So I suggest you research some of these herbs, learn how to procure them in dried form, or start growing them yourself so you can be smart. We're about to finish up here, guys. It's pretty exciting. I need to get a drink of water. We talked about cold times yesterday. Anita Bailey came through big. This is 21% off with free shipping for the Oppenheimer Ranch Project special. Free shipping. So get as many copies as you want for your loved ones and your family. It'll be out as soon as possible. She assured me you'll probably all get it for Christmas. This is a great book. 7 to 10 days for it to be printed and delivered. And then it'll be there within 2 or 3. So get on this. You're going to get a link to it. You just click right here from the link. It'll say Oppenheimer Ranch Project Special Cold Times. And just click on the link and hit buy it now. A couple of you were asking me to set up shirts that you wanted. I didn't want to print any myself. So I found this company called Teespring that will do it for us. If you're interested in getting a shirt that came out of nowhere, there are a couple colors I designed. Here's a hoodie. And it comes in the Grand Solar Minimum Much Boom version. And I also designed a KP0. I know what you're thinking version. And you can get that in green and in purple. I also got a mug here. If you like to drink your coffee and you want to send a good message, this mug is nice. There's also a mug here over on the Grand Solar Minimum Much. So just screw around with it. We need 3 people to order 3 different things, and then they'll make them. Otherwise, you're not going to lose your money. This is a campaign for fundraising. And what I did was I removed all the profit on the products so you can get them at the lowest price. And it's kind of fun. So if you want to send a message to those global warming alarmists, boom, buy a mug. KP0, I know what you're thinking. It's global warming. And here's the Cold Time Special, Oppenheimer Ranch Project Special. You're going to get it for $14.95, free shipping. This is a 400-page book of information we all need to know. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. I'm exhausted. Be safe, everybody.